Hello everybody and welcome to week 13 of the BFL, our best football league here, as we have the Dallas Marshals traveling to Detroit to take on the Demons here, as the Demons are trying to fight for their playoff lives. We start off here in the first play of the second quarter here. Score is 7-3 Dallas, as Pat Kane has plenty of time in the pocket and finds his young sensational rookie Jaquavius McKinney for a big game. Then a few plays later, Pat Kane with a play action fake, looking around, throws it right to his veteran receiver Corey Fitzgerald for the touchdown here today, making it a 14-3 game here. And then a couple of drives later here, Pat Kane would find Huey this time for another touchdown, his second touchdown of the day, now 21-3. This was all Dallas all day here. As you see here in the third quarter, Corey Fitzgerald making a great catch to put them inside the 5 here, as they would give it right to Keenan Preston for his second rushing touchdown of the day here, as Dallas are surprisingly up 28-3 here. And it will only get worse here. Shutt tries to throw it to Bynum. He drops the ball. It gets tipped just below him, and Gilbert gets the great immaculate interception there. And then a couple plays later, Pat Kane would dot them up again with another passing touchdown to Corey Fitzgerald, his second of the day here. And that would be it for this game, as the Marshals dominate the Demons in their own home 41-24, with the Demons going now 4-8, and the Dallas Marshals with the same record at 4-8. And for our second matchup of the day, we got the Kansas City Scouts at 4-7, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, traveling to Miami to take on the Cyclones, who's looking for a three-peat this season. And of course, the backup quarterback here today, Austin Cole, trying to make his mark here as he throws this one, tries to give it to Maynard, but gets picked off there by Humphrey to start off the drive. But here Miami would try to go for it here on a fourth down here, trying to trust their rookie Austin King, but he can't get it, and there'll be a turnover on downs. And then Cole will make up for his last mistake as he threw an interception last drive and throw this one right to the rookie Maynard for the first touchdown of the day. They are now up 7-0. But Eric Young changes that in an instant as he gets the handoff, gets into the inside, and goes untouched into the end zone for another touchdown of his great career here with the Miami Cyclones, now tied up at 7. So on the next drive here on a third down, Austin Cole running, tries to get the play fake off, but Wilder gets the sack and they would be forced to punt the ball away. And then on Miami's possession on a third down and 10, Rex Johnson with a clean pocket throws this one right to Desmond Riley as he goes all the way down the field for his, I believe, his fourth touchdown of the season, and that would give Miami the lead. Hester this time throwing this one as Austin Cole got injured. He threw it right into the defender, and it was a touchback. This time Miami would get the ball right back, and he would throw it right to BB Cash down the field. He had to go back to get it, but he gets the great grab here right before halftime. Of course, nothing but love and respect from the king of all wide receivers, BB Cash, last season's offensive player of the year. And Rex Johnson will give BB Cash yet another touchdown. I believe that was his 17th receiving touchdown of this season. Rex Johnson on the next drive here, looking, throws it right to Epps here. And the Kansas City Scouts would get a little bit of life, but they would only get 3 out of that one, making it 21-10. And then Rex Johnson throwing it to BB Cash once again for yet another touchdown on the board here. Now they're just stacking up the points here, now 28-10. And on this one, Clark just loses the ball there after getting tackled, and Humphrey would pick the ball up here for the Cyclones and continue the onslaught. Their quarterback still injured here. They had to bring out the backup punter for the backup quarterback role here, and BB Cash, of course, getting his third receiving touchdown of the day. And then, of course, we fast forward here in the fourth quarter, 35-10 here, and Rex Johnson would give this one to Eric Young for his second touchdown of the day. One rushing and one receiving for him, but that would be the end of the game here, with the Cyclones destroying the Scouts 52-24. For our third game of the day, we have two teams with not a lot to play for here, as the New York Jays travel to Orlando to take on the Knight Riders, who are 3-8. So we start here in the second quarter with the score 6-0 in the favor of New York. Harrison taking some pressure in the pocket, but finds Devontae Pritchett as he takes it all the way down inside the 15-yard line for a good pitch and catch. There, Harrison, a few plays later, rolling off to the right, looking, and he finds a wide open Jonathan Pritchett in the end zone for a touchdown. The Pritchett to Pritchett connection working out this drive. And for the next drive for Orlando, Harrison throws it to a seemingly open Jayshawn Myers, but it gets picked off by Carson there. And that was a great pick as it leads to a field goal by Valentine there to make it a 9-7 game at halftime. And to start the third quarter here, Bobby Lowe gets it at the goal line here, and he would take this one 100 yards down the field into the end zone for a touchdown as nobody would catch him here. Apparently, Orlando doesn't like being behind. They've been behind a lot, but this time around, they want to get this win against probably one of the worst teams in the league here. Now to score 12-13 here after a failed 2-point conversion here, but Schultz would get the catch and drive it into the end zone for a touchdown. Kenny Harrison was injured in that play, but he would come back a few plays later with just a little knee scrape. So now down by 8 here in the third quarter, Jason Blake dropping back the pass here, rolling off to the right, trying to look for a wide open receiver here, but he finds Lamar Walker as he gets the ball there and takes it all the way into the end zone. Lamar Walker, the MVP of this team, taking it all the way down 80 yards for a touchdown. Now going for 2 here, Jason Blake rolling off to the right here, finds Vantress Strong, but he cannot hold it as he just drops the ball there, and now it's a 2-point affair. But Jonathan Pritchett on the run here says 2 points is not enough for me. He's going to break a tackle, and then he's off to the races as he takes this one 75 yards into the end zone here, and with an extra point makes it a 9-point game. Now the Jays will have to respond. Jason Blake here dropping back past midfield, throws it, it gets tipped, but then it gets picked off by Vaughn, and Vaughn has been a demon for this secondary for a long time here. They would get the ball back here, and Lamar Walker will rumble and bumble and stumble his way into the end zone for a touchdown here. But now with just the extra point, they need 2. They didn't get the onside kick, but now they'll have a little bit of time, and Derek Vincent drops a potential game-changing catch there, but Jason Blake has to throw this one deep, and Vincent can't catch it again, and that would end the game for the Jays here as they experience their 11th loss of the season, and the Knight Riders will go home with a victory here, 27-25. So for our fourth game of the day, we got the Toronto Golden Owls hosting the Ohio Bulldogs. If you know anything about the BFL in this season, we know that Zeke Crawford and Tony McDaniel were both shipped away to Toronto to lose, but now they are in the presence of going into the playoffs and having a revenge game here today. And the Toronto Golden Owls get right to work as their first drive ends up with a touchdown to Tony McDaniel, the former Ohio Bulldog, getting some revenge here on his first drive there as he gets a touchdown right there to start off the game. And McPherson would respond here as he throws a dot right to Adam Hand to tie the game up here at 7. But Zeke Crawford wants some of that revenge pie too, as he is the one that got traded directly from Ohio there. He bulls through defenders to get into the red zone. A few plays later, Tyrone Hastings throwing yet another touchdown, this time to the fullback Hughes as he gets his second touchdown of the day. A few drives later here, Tyrone Hastings rolling off to the right, and he sees nothing but green in front of him as he gets this 35-yard gain as he gets pushed out of bounds. What a spectacular talent Toronto has their hands on today as the number 1 pick throws this one wide open to a wide open Jelani Simon and gets a score there for Toronto. And they would take advantage here, being up 21-7 here in this first half, but McPherson trying not to be behind too far, but James has other plans as he sacks him behind the line, and they would be forced to kick 3 a few plays later. But on the next drive, with just under a minute left, Tyrone Hastings running this time, and he's going to reach the pylon for a touchdown. Yet another rushing touchdown, and his total touchdowns is 4 today. As you can see, he's giving that game ball to the fans there, and it's been just a blockbuster day for Tyrone Hastings. Fast forward here to the second half, And Tyrone Hastings going to drop back and throws this one right to Vickers for his 5th touchdown today. That is his personal best. And the Toronto Golden Owls will get out of here with a record 8th win of the season, winning this one 45-17 against the Ohio Bulldogs. And so for our 5th matchup of the day, we got the LA Gold traveling up north to Denver to take on the Dynamo, who are 8-3 and are a win away from getting first place. And the LA Gold will start off their first drive at the goal line here. Nate Whitman getting pressured, but throws this one right to Vargas for the first touchdown of the day. And then on the next drive, on a 3rd and 17 here, Ricky Bledsoe looking downfield, throws it to his main man, Chris Barber, and he gets the reception just outside the red zone. And then a couple plays later here, 2nd and 4, Bledsoe feeling the pressure on both sides here, throws it right to Rocco Fannin in a tight window, but at the corner in the end zone, and he gets the score. Couple drives later, the score now 14-7, and Rocco Fannin will get yet another touchdown, this time on a screen play to tie the game up here before halftime. Switching gears here to the middle of the 3rd quarter. Now the score is 17-14 in favor of Denver, but LA is not out of it yet here as Nate Whitman throws this bomb right to Jeremy Holmberg to put them in scoring range here at the goal line. In this next play, on a 3rd down, Nate Whitman gets sacked by number 92, and they would kick the field goal for 3. So here at the beginning of the 4th quarter, at the 7-yard line here, 2nd and 4, Ricky Bledsoe play action fake, throws it right high to Barber there as he got interfered with by Emmanuel, but he got the catch anyway, and it's a touchdown as the Denver Dynamo take the lead here in the 4th quarter. This was a tight one here between both teams. Both teams looking for playoff aspirations, especially LA here, as John Clausen gets a big catch there, takes this one about 40 yards inside the 15-yard line. His 1st and goal here, Nate Whitman would just sneak it in there to tie the ball game up here at 24. So Denver with the ball back here on 3rd and 8. Bledsoe dropping back, throws this one right to Carl Van Dyke. He's been his main receiver all season, and he gets a 1st down. 3rd and inches here. Bledsoe looking, throws this one to Van Dyke again, but this time he drops it, and it's going to be 4th down. 4th and inches here on a risky 4th down here. Bledsoe looking off to his right, veering off to his right here, and throws it right to a wide open Chris Barber. That will be a 1st down, and they would bleed down the clock to give Bryant a easy 22-yard field goal attempt to go home with a victory, as the fans here in Denver get their final home game victory as they win this one 27-24 against Los Angeles. And now, for the first time in their team's history, they take the 1st place spot. And for our last matchup of the day, we got the New Jersey Dragons hosting the Atlanta Bullets. Both of these teams here looking for playoff aspirations, as both of their rushing quarterbacks are superstar studs here this season. And it is only right to start off this matchup with Rashard Murphy, the Mega Bowl II champion, rolling off to the right here as he finds no one. So he's going to take it himself and dive into the end zone for the first touchdown of the night between these two teams. And there were a lot of points made here today. D. Singleton this time rolling off to the right himself, and he would take a big long run there as he would take it and slide off into the 15-yard line. A couple plays later, D. Singleton looking off to the left. He can't find anyone, so he's going to run it here, but he would dive and fumble the ball at the goal line there, and New Jersey would get the recovery. But the recovery and the celebration was short as Rashard Murphy throws a costly interception to King there to get Atlanta back into the game. And then a couple plays later, D. Singleton veering off to the left here. He's going to tuck it and run anyway, and he's going to take it into the end zone for a rushing touchdown of his own. Here's 2nd and 10 here, back into scoring range for Murphy. Throws this one right to Rodney Parker, his tight end since season 1, and he gets a touchdown there. So on Atlanta's possession here, D. Singleton finds a wide open Keith Manning, and he would take this one 80 yards into the end zone for a touchdown there. Of course, Smith biting on the coverage there, and now it is tied at 14. Rashard Murphy trying to get back into scoring range, getting rushed outside the pocket, will veer off to the left, and he will rush for a big gain there, almost putting him inside the 10. A couple of plays later here, Murphy throwing this dagger right to Gross. Steve Gross, his wide receiver since season 2, and they would take the lead back here, 21-14. But this was a back and forth as D. Singleton would throw this floater right to his fullback O'Donnell, and he would take it all the way into the end zone for a 21-yard touchdown here, tying it back at 21. But now reaching into the second half here, Murphy would throw this one right to Trey Flanagan in the end zone for yet another touchdown. I believe that was his 4th touchdown of the day, as now they take back the lead 28-21. But D. Singleton responds here as he throws a play action fake and throws it right to Abbott for another touchdown, a 20-yard touchdown this time, and now the score tied at 28. And then Murphy on a second down, rolling off to the left here. He's going to break a tackle and put them inside the 10-yard line once again. But Hill on this third down, where if you saw for a split second, they were 5-6 on third down. Murphy just can't find anyone, so he throws it away, but his arm wasn't big enough, and it was an intentional grounding, and they would have to settle for 3. But at the red zone is D. Singleton playing probably his best game of his season, of his career, as he throws another touchdown here to Phil Williams. And now they finally take the lead here, 35-31. Here's Murphy here, just under 2 minutes, throws this one right to Trey Flanagan as he smartly goes out of bounds here. 3rd and inches here though. Murphy throwing it to Phil Quick getting his screen, and he would run it into the end zone for a touchdown. And that is Rashard Murphy's 5th touchdown of the day, 38-35. Both of these quarterbacks were on point today. D. Singleton throwing this one to Keith Manning with just 15 seconds left. Here we go, 8 seconds left. Singleton throws a Hail Mary to Abbott, and he gets the catch with no problem as they score here, making the score 42-38. And with one Hail Mary play, Murphy will have to heave it deep here. He doesn't have that big of an arm and throws it right into the hands of King again. That would be his 2nd INT of the day. And the Atlanta Bullets keep their playoff hopes alive with a win here as they win this one 42-38. So for week 13, we are getting close to the playoffs, guys. Week 13, here are our standings. We got the Denver Dynamo sitting on top of their throne for the first time ever. They are at 9-3, with the Boston Rebs right behind them at 9-4. The 8-4 teams we have here is a 4-way tie here. The Cyclones, the Golden Owls, the Grizzlies, and the Kings, all of them playoff contenders, all of them Mega Bowl contenders, if you want to be honest here, all sitting at 8-4. Here at the borderline here, they're basically, and they're in the playoffs, but anything can happen really. There are the New Jersey Dragons and the Atlanta Bullets. And at the outside here, we got the Bulldogs, the Gold, at 5-7. And then the 4-8 teams, the Demons and the Marshals, are at 4-8, along with the Knight Riders and the Scouts. And then in our last place spot, we have the New York Jays at 2-11. For our stats here, we got passing stats here, and we got Luke McCoy, of course, at 43 touchdowns here, a BFL record. Right behind him is Ricky Bledsoe with 38, Anthony Vales 31, Rob Griffith with 29 here. We got D. Singleton with 32, and I believe with 11 rushing touchdowns, he has 43. So he's right behind Luke McCoy for the touchdowns record. We're going to see at the end of the season who acquires that. Our passing leader is Luke McCoy, almost 4,000 yards passing, 3,920. Right behind him, of course, is Ricky Bledsoe, and Anthony Vales right behind him. For our rushers, of course, we got a lot of 1,000-yard rushers this season. We got Tamarick Clay with 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns. Zeke Crawford with 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Jonathan Pritchett, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Lamar Walker, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. Corey Smith, 1,000 yards, 7. And Tyrone Hastings, one of our first rushing quarterbacks to reach over 1,000 yards. Of course, he's not, I believe he's not the only one, but he might be. Yeah, he is the only one right now. He has 1,000 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. That is incredible. And there's a lot of guys right behind him. Of course, Sheldon Massey, he's gonna get 1,000 yards. Rashard Murphy is close to 1,000 yards. D Singleton is close to 1,000 yards, but both of these rushers are at 11 touchdowns each, so both of them are tied for the record of Rashard Murphy's 7 rushing touchdowns, so that's incredible. Keenan Preston having an impressive season with 934 yards and 13 touchdowns. He should be the next one up for a 1,000-yard season as well. And Rocky Humphrey, 841 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. And of course, Jameson Jean-Baptiste with a surprising 841 too. Just a lot of great rushers here, but a lot of guys teetering at the 1,000-yard mark or are at the 1,000-yard mark. So this is a pretty good competitive rushing season. For receiving yards here, we got BB Cash at 1,126 yards, and he has 17 touchdowns. He has tied his record for the most receiving touchdowns at 17. So of course, if he has one more rushing touchdown, he will break his own record for most receiving touchdowns in a season. You got to watch out for Tariq Jammer. He is at 16. Randall Bynum at 13 with 1,000. Keith Manning just over 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving yards with 11 touchdowns, his personal best season. Quandre Stevenson only 46 receptions, but he has almost 1,000 yards. Devontae Pritchett as well, almost 1,000 yards. Chris Barber almost 1,000 yards. DeAndre Lane at 832. He needs a couple of good games here, as he only I believe they only have one game left, as they will be having the bye week at the last game of the season. Alonzo O'Neal, 836 receptions and 806 yards. That's pretty impressive after having, I believe he had a 5-touchdown game or 4-touchdown game. Matt Nash, 800 yards. Jaquavius McKinney, a sensational rookie. He should be getting a lot of stat points as the season ends here. Vasco Laurent as well, 9 receiving touchdowns, 782 yards. Calvin Lloyd should be looking for an upstart in his season of his career, as he got 755 yards. Dakota Riley behind him. Got guys like Trey Flanagan, Corey Fitzgerald, Carl Van Dyke, a surprising one as he's almost at 800 yards. And just a great receiving season so far. We will be seeing some more 1,000-yard receivers as the season comes to a close. Going on to defense now, the most tackles here is Brian Hasty with 65, 5 for loss. The most tackles for loss is John Malone with 10. We have Benjamin Dexter and Sammy Hayes both trying to fight for that basically defensive player of the year. They have 8 sacks each, and they might even be defensive player of the year this season. But one of them definitely going to get defensive rookie of the year. Right behind him is Kevin Forbes with 7 sacks this season, a big upgrade. The most big hits here is Stan Hall, the safety. He has 6 big hits recorded. And the most interceptions this season, Brandon Gill and Aaron Tucker from Oakland, and Brandon Gill, of course, from Denver. Todd Jordan right behind him from Oakland as well with 5 INTs. So going into week 14, we got the schedule coming up right now here. We got the Cyclones and the Bulldogs in a classic rivalry. Of course, the Bulldogs will have to win this game if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. I believe they are 5-7. The Revolution take on the Knight Riders. The Gold take on the Grizzlies here in a California Classic matchup between those two teams, as they both have playoff aspirations as well, and the Gold really need a win here to keep themselves in the playoffs. The Kings take on their rivals in the Marshalls, but that's not really a big of a game. The Dragons take on the Golden Owls. That will be a huge game, and I think that might be our game of the week. 2 Russian quarterbacks once again. Can the Dragons rebound after a big loss against Atlanta, or will the Golden Owls take over and get yet another win this season? That will be their 9th win of the season, and putting the Dragons in a really tough spot here, as they would be even competing for the 8th seed at the end of this one. The Scouts take on the Dynamo, and the Demons take on the Bullets here. The Bullets would need a win here to keep themselves in the playoffs as well. With the bye week going to the Jays, I know they are thankful that they get a bye week, because I know they are tired of losing. All right, so that is it for week 13 of the BFL. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I know it's been a month between the weeks, between week 12 and 13. I've had a lot going on. Of course, this is a hobby. This is not a full-time job. I am working on the AFL so far. I'm on episode 6. I'm trying to get to episode 7 so I can upload those back to back. But I've just been having way more fun editing the BFL clips and commentating over them because, of course, this is my personal project. So just bear with me for all the arena football fans. I did hear the good news that there is going to be 16 teams announced already. The 16 cities announced already for the Arena Football League, so that's going to be a nice watch in the summer. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please stay tuned for Week 14 Game of the Week and Week 14 highlights along with the AFL. Like I just mentioned earlier, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.